Welcome to India at 75, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, as we mark India's Independence Day celebrations for the year 2021. This presentation features messages and experiences from eminent Malaysians on the 75-year journey of India's growth and development. The Indian diaspora from Malaysia joined their brothers and sisters in Malaysia in celebration of the grand festival of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The celebration started this year on the 12th of March 2021 and will continue until the 15th of August 2023. Today's celebration is significant as it marks an entry into the 75th year anniversary of independence. Forged in sacrifice and struggle, the commemoration is a reminder of the precious gift of economic, social, and political freedom. Since that day in 1947, India has stayed true to its destined role as a global leader. At the very core of that role is the moral strength and leadership shown by India as it consolidates its ties with the rest of the world. To start things off, let us begin with a short clip titled Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, celebrating 75 years of India's independence.
भारत के पास तो गर्व करने के लिए अथाह भंडार है, समृद्ध इतिहास है, चेतनामय सांस्कृतिक विरासत है। इसलिए आजादी के 75 साल का ये अवसर एक अमृत की तरह वर्तमान पीढ़ी को प्राप्त होगा कि आजादी के 75 साल का अवसर कितना ऐतिहासिक है, कितना गौरवशाली है। इस पर्व में शाश्वत भारत की परंपरा भी है, स्वाधीनता संग्राम की परछाई भी है और आजाद भारत के गौरवान्वित करने वाली प्रगति भी है। आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव यानी आजादी की ऊर्जा का अमृत। आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव यानी स्वाधीनता सेनानियों से प्रेरणाओं का अमृत। आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव यानी नए विचारों का अमृत, नए संकल्पों का अमृत। आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव यानी आत्मनिर्भरता का अमृत। और इसलिए ये महोत्सव राष्ट्र के जागरण का महोत्सव है। ये महोत्सव सुराज्य के सपने को पूरा करने का महोत्सव है। ये महोत्सव वैश्विक शांति का विकास का महोत्सव है। फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल आइडियाज एट 75, achievements at 75, actions at 75 or resolve at 75.
One of the reasons for India's strong influence in Malaysia is the close cultural and historical linkages between the people of the two countries. This presentation, put together by the Indian High Commission in Kuala Lumpur, in close collaboration with the Malaysia-India Heritage Group, is a reminder of that special bond between the people of India and Malaysia. It features Malaysians from all walks of life, as they share their thoughts on the continued progress of India on its grand journey. May the cherished bond between the people of both countries gain strength in the years ahead. Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. Today, Mydin is a household name in Malaysia. Travel to any major town in Malaysia and chances are you will find a Mydin store in the area. The man behind these chain of stores is none other than Dato' Wira Dr. Haji Amir Ali Mydin, who joins us here to greet India on the auspicious anniversary of our independence. He is joined by the current Pro-Chancellor of the University of Cyberjaya, Tan Sri Dr. Palin. There is little doubt that education has prepared India for the challenges of India at 75. India continues to offer a model of education to countries the world over, with many students from Malaysia having traveled to India over the last couple of decades to pursue professional courses.
To all my dearest friends in India, my heartfelt wishes for India at 75. First of all, I wish to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation toward the Indian High Commission for your continuous commitment to develop good ties between our two countries. India, as the world fondly calls Incredible India, is such an amazing and magical country comprising of a rich history, generous and passionate people with enormous business trade potential. And I believe, and I strongly believe, Malaysia has also the same traits: incredible people, rich diversity of culture, and this will marry both our Indian and Malaysian people together. Long time ago, my father, Mr. Mydin, came from Gujarat to India via ship, I'm very sure, and started his business. His father actually, which is my late grandfather, started his business in Penang as Ghulam Hussain Jamal, and slowly and surely he grew the business as what is known today as Mydin, one of the biggest and the largest hypermarket in Malaysia. Mahatma Gandhi once said, relationships are based on 4 principles: respect, understanding, acceptance, and appreciation. So when we do business together, it's always very important to keep these 4 principles in place. We will always have the political noise here and there, but at the end of the day, as long as we respect each other, we understand each other, we accept each other, and appreciate whatever we want to do together, will go a long way. I would think that we in Malaysia, and I've always encouraged my colleagues in Malaysia, that when you want to do business with your competitive countries all over the world, we should always, as Malaysian Indians, try to focus in India, simply because this is where you have a competitive advantage in terms of your culture and the language. While the Chinese in Malaysia, who are also very competitive, just like the Indians in Malaysia, they will have a competitive advantage when they go to China. So my fellow Malaysians, and of course our fellow friends in India, let's work together. Let's work together because we can work together to develop a great business relationship. And I find that India, because I buy lots of things from India, India has what we call color, which we find that many countries that do not have. And when we buy things like even our brooches or saris or fabric, this colorful color that you get when you transform it into fabrics and whatever that you want to do and you want to sell, you get beautiful things out of it. India is always very competitive. I only ask my friends in India and the government to see how you can be more competitive, because sometimes in business we find that there are a lot of impediments you find, which is normally delays in shipment, maybe possibly because of whatever reason you have internally. Your internal tax structure within states could also make you not competitive to other countries in the world. We in Malaysia, we Indians in Malaysia work very well together with a lot of Indians in the ASEAN country. This is where India, Malaysia and ASEAN work well together for the future of our children. My dear friends and colleagues, we know the current situation, the current global situation is going to be very difficult, but as I always believe, blood is thicker than water, and of course charity begins at home. Being Indians, I find that if we work together, we can always do better than anybody else. May the great gifts of the spirit of independence, incredible India, will continue to shine in the eyes of the world. Let's work together for the better of humanity, for the better of our economic relationship, so we both can grow together. Assalamu alaikum.
It is my honor to say a few words on the occasion of the celebrations of India at 75. On this important milestone, I like to travel along the corridors of education between Malaysia and India, starting with my personal journey as a student in India. Just like many other millions of students, I was one of those who found the benefits of studying in India, not just graduating from a course of study, but also benefiting from the other experiences that India had to offer with its rich cultural diversity. The music scene, the cinema, the arts, and of course, spirituality. And I found, as what they often say, that education opens up one's mind and etches in their memories memorable events. There were many significant memorable events in my life throughout my education in India. And I would certainly think that many other millions of students who pursued their study in India found the same benefits just as me. And for that, we will have to say thank you, India. India's growth over the last 7.5 decades has been simply something that one could marvel at. Just looking at their sheer size, one could think that it'll be impossible to keep pace with the changes that's happening in this world. But India has been able to reinvent, re-engineer, and grow, innovate on a regular basis their education systems with its all-inclusive high-quality education systems. The levels of education attainment, the ability to link it with employability outcomes has been amazing. India has gone through the process of building some of the world-class institutions like the Indian Institute of Technologies, Indian Institute of Management, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, staying well ahead in the global race of innovation. Obviously, to add on, India's innovations in the education system, both in the private sector and in the public sector, has been a role model that many other nations would love to follow. The ability to create an English-speaking workforce and the propensity for entrepreneurial innovation is something many other nations have been admiring India for. Having said that, I think India has shown the world that it can stay ahead of the game by providing for its citizens in a remarkable way with its ability to continue to grow all the time. India's contributions does not require huge mention because it's been well documented. I think the number of Malaysian students who have gone through on the nomination seats, which was established on a G2G basis, government to government basis, has defined the quality of healthcare in a country like Malaysia. Additionally, I think the cooperation and collaboration has not been just restricted to education, but also goes on to the economic front, and the signing of the Economic Cooperation Agreement in early 2010 is one such initiative. Additionally, I think the Indian Council of Cultural Relations with their education scholarship schemes, such as the general scholarship schemes, as well as the education exchange programs, have contributed and benefited many students. And the Indian High Commission in Malaysia is not lagged behind. It has also provided generously to students pursuing higher education in Malaysia. Looking at the collaboration and the cooperation, I could think there is tremendous potential for future collaboration between Malaysia and India. Malaysia has developed many institutions of quality, and India, with its sheer quality and quantity of talent, both countries could cooperate in emerging fields like robotics, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Even in traditional areas like agriculture and plantations, in a world of IR 4.0, there is tremendous collaboration opportunities for a win-win. Last but not the least, on a personal note, I wish to thank India and its people all success and continued prosperity for India at 75 celebrations. Thank you.
A strong foundation in science is necessary for a country to remain truly independent, and India's scientific heritage has enabled her to preserve the hard-won freedom from colonial rule. The founding fathers of the nation recognized the freedom that comes with knowledge and nurtured the scientific temper. We have here with us Himanshu Bhatt, a veteran journalist and dramatist looking at some of India's successes in science and technology, which have laid a strong foundation for India at 75. Now, with the world facing a major and unprecedented health crisis, we in Malaysia and elsewhere can no longer afford to ignore alternative medicine, many with historical roots in the Indian subcontinent. It has taken a Malaysian of Chinese descent to promote Ayurveda in Malaysia. Puan Sri Suyong Nyanalingam, owner of Ayurveda centers in Malaysia, is here to wish India well.
Did you know that formulas to calculate the timing of eclipses were written down by a mathematician named Brahmagupta 1,400 years ago? Did you know that as far back as 2,500 years ago, plastic surgery, cataract operations, artificial limbs, caesareans, and even brain surgeries were being done by a physician named Shushruta? Did you know that the principles behind the motion of celestial bodies in space were already recorded by a man named Aryabhatta 1,500 years ago? Namaste. I am Himanshu Bhatt, a journalist based in Malaysia. As India commemorates her independence, we take cognizance of her great civilizational legacy as well as the giant leaps she has taken into the 21st century. When India launched her first satellite in space on April 19, 1975, it was significantly named Aryabhat, after the great mathematician and astronomer of the past. Indeed, the Aryabhat satellite, which was constructed by the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, marked a milestone amongst various achievements by Indians in the field of science and technology. One of the foremost contributors to this progress was the Indian Institute of Technology, or IIT. The renowned institute was founded to train scientists and engineers to help spur the economic and social progress of India after independence in 1947. Various IIT campuses emerged across India, benefiting millions of people, not only in the country, but across the world with their boundless innovations. Let us recall just a few of the symbolic milestones in science after independence of India. In 1978, Dr. Subhash Mukherjee stunned everyone when he became the first physician in India and the second in the world to create a test tube baby. In 1983, an Indian team built the nation's first scientific base station in the Antarctica in a record time of 8 weeks, about 2,500 kilometers from the South Pole. In September 2014, India's space probe Mangalyaan reached the orbit of Mars after about 300 days. This made India the first nation in Asia and only the fourth in the world to reach our neighboring planet. This incredible feat had come on the heels of the world having seen the first Indian astronaut in space, Rakesh Sharma, in 1984, and the success of India's first unmanned space mission, Chandrayaan-1, reaching the moon in 2008. But the most tangible and overarching achievement has been the rise of information technology in India. Under the Digital India initiative launched in 2015, every aspect of governance underwent a transformation towards unprecedented ease and efficiency. The digitalization drive was steered by 31 mission projects that covered a wide range of domains: agriculture, land records, health, education, passports, police, courts, municipalities, commercial taxes, treasuries, and so on. It also saw the rise of world-class IT companies and technopreneurs emerging from India. If we are proud of our present achievements in science and technology, achievements that have caught the attention even of the developed world, it is because of our strong scientific temper, which we need to consolidate, to harness, and further advance in order for us to imbue greater depth and meaning to the very spirit of our independence.
India's forefathers achieved freedom with their hard work and sacrifices. Today, you are at the dawn of your 75th year of independence. India's traditional medicine, Ayurveda, was brought into Malaysia at the beginning of this millennium, creating a very strong connection between India and Malaysia. Through our pioneering work in Ayu Center in Malaysia, founded in 2000 and successfully sustained for the past 21 years, we are proud that Ayurveda has contributed to changing mindsets of global citizens to prioritize health and well-being above materialism. At the time of global crisis, we are most proud to be able to share this great Indian legacy with our fellow citizens in this country. On behalf of the premier Ayurveda Center of Malaysia, I, Suyong Nyanalingam, the owner and the staff of our two Ayu centers located in Petaling Jaya and Soramban, are proud to wish India all the very best for India at 75 Azadi Ka Amrit Mahostav.
The Mahotsav celebrates the glorious history of India's achievements in both the past and present. Jomo Sundaram, an eminent economist, recollects the initiatives taken to reconstruct the global order at the dawn of Indian independence. Relationships between nations are strongest at the people-to-people level. Dr. Sushila Menon, president of the Malaysian Institute of Chartered Secretariats and Administrators, represents hundreds of thousands of diaspora Indians in Malaysia who have strong connections with India outside of official diplomacy. We also have a special performance by students from the Global Indian International School in Kuala Lumpur, joining us in wishing India well on the occasion of India at 75, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
This is indeed it was indeed a very momentous occasion when the Indian people secured independence ahead of most other former colonized countries in Asia, except for the Philippines. It's important for us to recognize the considerable achievements of the Indian people since independence, but also one should recognize that independence was the culmination of struggles over centuries and decades. At this time, it is useful for us to reflect a little bit on how the fathers of the nation saw the responsibility of Indian independence from the outset. In early 1947, the first ever, and unfortunately the last ever, Asian Relations Conference was convened in Delhi. And this was a very momentous occasion with leaders coming from all over Asia, leaders of anti-colonial movements who came to participate and celebrate not only imminent independence, also the possibility of greater Asian solidarity. This is important for us to reflect upon today when you have very strong movements in Latin America and the Caribbean, strong movements in the form of the African Union, but nothing comparable in terms of the unity of Asia. The unity of Asia, of course, has been abused by false promises, for example, during the Second World War. But this is not the time to reflect on that, but rather to look ahead at the need for us to once again unite and realize the possibilities of Asian solidarity at a time of new challenges. It is important for us to reflect, for example, how the Asian Relations Conference of 1947 led to Bandung in 1955 and the birth of the non-aligned movement in 1961. All this is still very much relevant for our times as we see a new Cold War emerging, where we have rival powers in blocks. And this, I think, is a very dangerous situation for peace in the world. But it also forces us and requires the rest of us to reconsider the importance of neutrality and non-alignment, the relevance of non-alignment. India has provided great leadership in this regard in the past, for example, by providing research on the possibilities of greater solidarity among developing countries within the third world and so on. It is on this basis that it is very important for us to consider the possibilities of continued or rather renewed Indian leadership in terms on the basis of mutual respect and solidarity. And this is most pressing as we enter the danger, as we recognize the dangers of the new Cold War and its tremendous ramifications, not only for peace, but also, for example, for the against the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much, and I wish you all well as you enter your 75th year of independence.
Malaysia and India have always enjoyed excellent diplomatic, trade and cultural ties. As Malaysian Indians, we're indeed very happy that regardless of ethnic background, we're all able to follow our respective cultural practices and traditions. So much so that we have managed to achieve what I would call a beautiful blend of cultures that is uniquely Malaysian. As in the case of many Indians in Malaysia, my parents have their origins in India. My ancestral home or Taravada is in Thrissur, Kerala, and I have many wonderful childhood memories of holidays spent there. August 15th is the dawn of independence for India, the day of freedom from British colonialism of some 200 years. The journey to this special day in 1947 was tough and fraught with struggles, with many brave patriots having laid down their lives for this purpose. Today, I'm honored to be able to wish every Indian citizen Happy Independence Day. I wish your great nation peace, progress and prosperity always. Azadi ka Amrit Mahostav. God bless.
We have now come to the end of today's presentation. Thank you to all our speakers and to all of you at home for joining us today to celebrate India at 75. Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav.